about to share a very unsettling and very downright scary thing that happened to my friend a couple of years ago when she lived in her former apartment. We hope to maybe get someone here who have any theories that I might have been, or just some general feedback. I've known my friend for almost 20 years, and she is very honest. She's a very honest person, and not the one to deliberately lie or make up stories. I can call her M in this story for privacy reasons. M moved to a new apartment in our hometown in 2008. I myself moved here in 2009, but I did a different stairwell for the building that I still live in today. It's a rather small concrete apartment building with 3 different stairwells, with 3 floors in each of them. Most of the apartments here are also very small, about 40 square foot meters, and the rent here is very cheap. The only backstory we have on the building is that it was built in the 1940s and was first used as a home for soldiers before it became an apartment complex. One of the first real signs of that something really strange was going on began when M's sister was staying in M's apartment over the night with a guy that she dated at the time while M was away working night shifts. It was in the evening and the couple were sitting on M's bed in the living room watching TV when they suddenly heard like scratching or rustling noises that sounded like they came from the small doorless wardrobe space in the hallway. They described the noises sounding like a mix of rats running along and a cat sharpening its claws on the wall. M's cat, who was also in the living room with them, started to hiss and raised its back looking towards the hallway. When the noises stopped, they started to look around in all cupboards and in all the wardrobe spaces to see if there was some kind of vermin in the apartment, such as rats or cockroaches that made similar sounds like that, but they found no signs of anything living there. No mice droppings, nestings, shredded stuff, etc. They didn't even find a single scratch mark. Afterwards, the sounds were coming back off and on during the evening and getting louder and louder every time they started hearing them again. M's sister and her date were both too scared to sleep that night. M heard all about what happened when she came home the other day. She found it very strange since she never had heard the noises herself. She chose to believe her sister and her date and later on, when she spoke with one of her cousins on the phone, M learned that her cousin had been hearing scratching noises coming from the wardrobe space too. It happened while M's cousin, who we can call P, had been looking after M's cat during one of M's night shifts at work. P had woken up by M's cat violently attacking her, then running to hide under the sofa she was sleeping on. She was still a bit groggy from waking up so abruptly, but after a few minutes she started to hear loud scratching coming from the wardrobe space in the hallway. She described it sounding as large claws or nails scratching the walls up and down, back and forth in a slower manner than M's sister and her date had heard the noises. The cat's in the same room as her, so it couldn't have been him at all. I don't think P got much sleep after that night either. M never experienced the noises herself. Her strange experiences before the scary finale of the story showed themselves mostly through her cats. M had 2 cats at different points. The first one was present during the scratching event, sadly passed away in 2011, and she got the second cat in 2012. Both of them showed the exact same behaviour. I know cats can be goofy and do things sometimes, like running fast back and forth over the floor like idiots for no reason, but this was different. They were both acting like something invisible was harassing them. They could sit quietly by themselves and suddenly start to hiss and growl at blank spaces and suddenly go and run and hide somewhere. Sometimes they were even acting like something had physically harmed them, walking with a light limp and their tails tucked between their back legs, and both cats were frequently starting and stirring intensely at the hallway. Almost on a daily basis, they acted like they were under constant stress and terror. Besides the strange cracking noises that only her relatives heard, and the cat's bizarre behaviour, it only happened small, explainable things in the apartment. You could hear what sounded like creaking in the hallway, wardrobe-covered doors standing wide open when Em came home after work, when nobody had been there all day. A stern hanging from an air vent slowly waging back and forth like someone was playing with it, and the toilet door slowly opening by itself. Also, the feeling of being watched was a very common thing experienced by many people visiting, myself included. It was in late autumn of 2012 that the unexplained events turned into a far more terrifying direction. Em started to have very scary real nightmares every night for several weeks. It was always the same dream, with Em dreaming that something or someone was standing at her feet of her bed, staring at her intensely. Then she would be transferred to the hallway where she was standing, facing the wardrobe space and feeling that something threatening was slowly coming towards her. But she would always wake up before she could see clearly what was terrorizing her in the apartment. When she woke up, the time would always be 11:30 a.m. every single night. She would always be really scared when she woke and was never able to fall back asleep afterwards. Sometimes she would wake up and strange scratches on her body would be visible, and just the cats doing or something that had to do with the explainable phenomenon. One night she was lying on her bed, wide awake with her laptop on her stomach watching a movie. She suddenly felt a really intense feeling of being watched like the one she had in her nightmares. The feeling was too strong that she was absolutely convinced someone must have come into her apartment and was standing in the room watching her, so she paused the movie and peeked above the computer screen. She could see something slowly materializing from the doorway leading to the hallway. It was a dark shape, but she still couldn't make out some details. It looked like a person's face in profile. It had a long pointy nose and chin, small eyes, high forehead. She could see what looked like a hairline. Even if it looked like a person, she felt like that it was no way that thing was even remotely human. It was slowly reaching its head forward, further into the room, and then Em's horror, slowly turning its face towards her, looking straight at her with a large grin. By then, Em was obviously in panic. She reached out for her blankets and put them over her head. She was too terrified to even move. She was sure that she would probably die of fear that night. She lay there under the covers all night, too scared to sleep or do anything else. It was first when she saw that daylight had reached the room that she dared to get out of her bed. After that night, Em's nightmares stopped and she never saw the entity again. But naturally, she would have several troubles falling asleep most nights out of fear of seeing the entity again. The apartment's atmosphere changed to even worse feelings of unease, and being watched, Em described the feeling of dread was so pronounced that she would have feelings of overwhelmedness in her own home, like it didn't belong to her anymore. She also started to experience feelings that the entity was always near, standing close beside her. She was always in great emotional distress from the lack of sleep and consistent feeling of being watched. She finally moved into a new apartment in September 2013. When she moved into the new apartment, everything changed for the better. She could sleep at night and feel safe again. Even her cat changed its behaviour and became a calm and happy cat. Well, I hope you like that story, guys. Please subscribe and like and follow the crow.